morning, students. Welcome back. We are going with our chapter, The Age of Industrialization, History, Class 10. In today's session, we will cover how the Manchesters come to India, the problem faced by Indian weavers, factories come up. So, let us start with our session. Manchesters comes to India. In 1772, Henry Petolo, an official of the East India Company, said that the demand for Indian textiles could never reduce due to its fine quality. In 1811 to 1812, the share of cotton textile industry was 33% of India's export. By 1850 to 51, it was just 3%. In the 19th century, textile industries in England developed. The industrialists pressurized the government to impose import duties on cotton textiles so that Manchester's goods could sell in Britain without facing any competition. At the same time, the industrialists persuaded the East India Company to sell British manufacturer in the Indian market. At the end of 18th century, there had been virtually no import of cotton piece goods into India. But by the 1870s, cotton import from England was over 50% of the value of Indian imports. At that time, there were some problems that were faced by Indian weavers. We will discuss that problems. Their export market collapsed. The local market was flooded with Manchester's goods. That Manchester goods were that which were imported from Britain. These imported cotton goods were so cheap that Indian weavers could not easily compete with them. By 1860s, Indian weavers faced a new problem. American Civil War started and cotton supplies from US was stopped. Thus, Britain turned to India. As cotton export from India increased, the price of raw cotton increased. Weavers in India did not get sufficient cotton and they were forced to buy raw cotton at high prices. This was another problem for the weavers. Now we talk about how the factories come up. Cotton and jute mills were the first to be established in India. The first cotton mill was set up in 1854 in Bombay and the first jute mill was set up in 1855 in Bengal. Till 1862, 4 mills were set up with 94,000 spindles and 2150 looms. In North India, the Elgin mill was started in Kanpur in the 1860s and a year later, the first cotton mill of Ahmedabad was set up. By 1874, the first spinning and weaving mill of Madras began production. Most of these industries were set up by Indian enterprises. Then we have how the early entrepreneurs came. From the late 18th century, the British in India began exporting opium to China and took tea from China to England. Many Indian businessmen became junior players in this trade. They provided finance and procured supplies and shipping consignment. Some of these had vision to develop industrial enterprises in India. Some famous industrialists of 19th century were Dwarkanath Tagore, Dinashar, Shiv Narayan Birla, Tata, etc. Dwarkanath Tagore set up 6 joint stock companies in the 1830s and 1840s. J.N. Tata set up first iron and steel work in India at Jamshedpur in 1912. Seth Hukumchand set up the first Indian jute mill in Calcutta in 1917. Some merchants from Madras traded with Burma, while others had links with the Middle East and East Africa. There were some limitations which were imposed by colonials over Indian merchants. Now we will discuss that. As colonial power gained control over Indian trade, the scope of business for Indian merchants became limited. They were not allowed to trade with Europe in manufactured goods. They were allowed to export only raw materials and food grains like cotton, opium, wheat, and indigo, which were required by the British. Indian merchants even thrown out of shipping business. Till the First World War, European agencies controlled a large sector of Indian industries. Some of them are Bird Higgins and Corporation, Andrew Yules, etc. Indian businessmen were not even allowed to join in the chambers of commerce of Europeans. Now we talk about how the demand for workers increased. That means the migration of workers in search of jobs. With the expansion of factories, the demand for workers increased. In 1901, there were 584,000 workers in the Indian factories. By 1946, the number was over 36,000. In most industrial regions, workers came from the district around. Peasants and artisans who found no work in the village went to the industrial center in search of work. Over 50% workers in the Bombay cotton industry in 1911 came from the neighboring district of Ratnagiri. The mills of Kanpur got most of their workers from the villages within the district of Kanpur. Most often, mill workers moved between the city and their native place during harvest and festivals. As news of employment spread, workers travelled great distance in the hope of work in the mills. From the United Provinces, they even went to work in Bombay or Calcutta. Then come the introduction of jobbers. Here we talk about the jobbers who provide the jobs. Getting job was not easy. Entering to the mills was restricted. Industrialists employed a jobber to get new recruits. Jobber used to be very old and trusted worker. He got people from his village, ensured them jobs, helped them settle in the city, and provided them money in time of crisis. Jobber became a person with some authority and power who sometimes misuse their power. That's it with today's session. In next session, we will talk about the peculiarities of industrial growth, small scale industries predominate, and market for goods. Till then, take care. Goodbye.